Lulu, what do you do when veggies are in conflict?
Tell.
You sent in the peas team.
Let us know if that works. I bet it was the potatoes that couldn't see eye to eye.
No, it was the cauliflower beating around the bush, so there wasn't much room for open negotiations.
Well, tomatoes sometimes don't turn up at these meetings, you know. Some people prefer to squash the things of the past because they don't want to leak information. Others, they just sprout forth eloquently because they don't perceive any hearings read or other.
There's something fishy about that last statement.
This is getting a bit corny, Zee. I hate to throw a spanner in the veggies, but if we don't get on with today's chocolate chats, we are going to be in the soup.
Quite right. Welcome to Tea with Lulu and Zee. If you haven't seen our first 2 videos, I suggest you get hold of them. There aren't any corny jokes in those ones.
None at all. In fact, the first 2 were quite amazing. In case you missed the subtle hints, our topic for today is conflict resolution.
Quite frankly, I can't think of a more relevant topic because conflict is everywhere and it is inevitable because there are no 2 people on this planet that think alike at the same time or have the same set of values. Conflict is bound to happen, but our aim for today is to explore how we can do conflict in a way that is respectful to others and also preserves the relationship.
So for those of you who are a little bit green when it comes to conflict, have no fear. Lulu and Zee are here to help equip you with tools to de-escalate conflict and to use it as a tool to transform your relationships.
Yes, I always say, why DIY if you can DIY? Why do it yourself if you can transform it yourself? Life is all about perceptions, and if we can begin to see the transformational power of conflict, it will completely change the way we handle it. If we can be aware of what triggers our anger, we can prevent conflict from escalating. So, you can either be a cool cucumber or a red tomato by being aware of the things that can trigger you, like, for me, bad drivers, bad language, bad food, and bad mood.
That's nothing, Zee. Wait until you see my list. So Lulu's anger triggers are long queues, people who interrupt, people who talk about themselves all the time, people who don't listen properly, and of course people who are sexist, racist, or just plain abusive. Fortunately, I'm not at all competitive, Zee.
Anyway, let's not lose our focus. There are a number of skills that we need, almost like tools in a toolbox, in order to be effective in conflict or have the types of conflict that transform rather than destroy. Lulu, please take us through the essentials.
Yes. I can think of 5 essential skills that are really necessary if you're going to be good at resolving a conflict. So the first one is to really get to the heart of what is causing the conflict. Sometimes there's a superficial thing going on and then there's a deeper underlying cause. For example, you might be having an argument about coming late for a meeting. But if you go back in the history of the relationship, the argument is really, it started when the one person got a promotion and the other one didn't. So you need to address the underlying deeper causes in a conflict. Secondly, active listening skills are vital if we're going to be good at resolving conflict. When I say active listening skills, I mean listening with the head, listening for the content the person is sharing, and listening with the heart, listening for the feelings that the other person is having in the conflict. Thirdly, the response is very important. If you're going to respond with a passive style, it's not going to be resolved. If you're going to have what my son calls a shouty moment, that could cause the thing to escalate. What we'd like to aim for is to have an assertive response in conflict. And assertive means to be respectful, to be kind, to be mindful that the other person has a different opinion, but to nonetheless be honest in terms of sharing your point of view.
Shouty works for me sometimes.
I know. Did we mention we shouldn't interrupt under anger triggers?
Yes, we did. And I'm working very hard on that together with patience. And since you were taking so long to get through to this, I thought I would just end off with the last two. So, emotional self-management, especially managing anger, is vital. That is why we referred to triggers earlier in our discussion. And the last skill we would love to emphasize is uncovering the need of the individuals in conflict. Because once you can uncover the needs and know what the people really want, you can get to the heart of the problem and hopefully solve it.
Now, I hate to cut across your story, Zee, but I have something that can illustrate this point very well. Imagine this. You have an absolutely shocking night's sleep. You wake up every hour on the hour. As a result, there's no time for breakfast. You're running late, you overslept, you come screeching into the car park about 15 minutes after the bell. There's the principal waiting for you. His anger has been triggered. He looks very cross. And not only is he upset because you are late, but he's got 2 complaints that have been lodged. One from a teacher, one from a parent. On a day like that, Zee, what are the chances that you're going to engage in a petty conflict with someone?
The chances are very good. Fortunately, I'm a very self-controlled girl.
The point is, when our needs are not met, from the need for food to the need for sleep to the need for appreciation and the need for self-actualization, there's a very good chance that one might land up engaging in petty conflict with someone else.
But imagine this. If you wake up after sleeping on a Simmons mattress, you had 8 hours of uninterrupted sleep. Your nose leads you to the dining room where your loved one has prepared a buffet breakfast. I'm talking bacon, croissants, fruit salad, yogurt, waffles for pudding. You go to work 15 more minutes before the bell rings, and there the principal is waiting, almost with open arms, wanting to tell you about the 2 emails that he received from happy parents. You go into your classroom and what do you find? A big muffin and a steaming cappuccino, especially from the 9Bs to say how thankful they are that you always go the extra mile and that you're the best teacher ever. Now on a day like that, Lulu, what are the chances of any petty fights?
There will be no petty fights whatsoever. When the emotional tank is topped up, there's very slim chance of getting engaged in a very silly conflict with somebody else.
Exactly.
Undoubtedly.
Absolutely.
Precisely.
Infinity. The moral of the story is, when one uncovers the needs of those parties in conflict, it will point you in a win-win direction to solving the problem.
And win-win in conflict is exactly what we are looking for. It's so important when we're involved in a conflict to try and find a way to de-escalate the conflict and to use it as a tool to transform the relationship.
Absolutely.
Undoubtedly.
Exactly.
It's always useful to learn from the experiences of others. Let's head off to Kabiga Primary and see what they can share with us in terms of their experiences in conflict situations. So here we are at Kabiga Primary, and we were really hoping to find some adoring fans.
Instead, we got some boring plans.
Nonetheless, it's a great privilege to be here with the teachers of Kabiga Primary, and we're going to ask them to introduce themselves right away.
My name is Hanli Mackie. I'm a grade 6 teacher. I've been teaching 14 years at Kabiga, 26 years in total. I'm an Afrikaans teacher and a social science teacher and a maths teacher.
Hi, my name is Rian Stradom. I've been at Kabiga for 3 years. I'm a grade 7 Afrikaans teacher.
My name is Corrie van Eck. I've been at Kabiga for 20 years, been teaching for 35 years and I'm deputy principal.
Hi there, I'm Deirdre Lawrence and I'm teaching at Kabiga Primary, grade 6 English class for 2 years now. I'm going on my 3rd year next year.
So one of the topics in the Building Peaceful Classrooms material is conflict. And we'd love to just hear your thoughts around some of the aspects of conflict that we covered from the material.
Ali, do you love, hate, or navigate conflict?
I would say all of above, because conflict is part of everyday life, and it's important that you must know how to deal with it. And with Leanne's help, I have learned that people have a different opinion about conflict, and that everyone has a different way of handling it. And if you know how people react to conflict, you will know better to make a better choice and to avoid it. But sometimes conflict is necessary for the bigger picture and for the better of the school. Definitely.
Thank you.
Rian, part of managing your classroom is managing the conflicts as they arise. Can you just share with us, how do you deal with conflict when it pops up in the classroom?
Funny you should ask. I actually had a story early on today where I had 2 children in my class who were very mad at each other, and they were screaming at each other. And I think the first thing that struck me is how calm I remained. Even though I was boiling, I stayed very calm. Surprised myself actually. And eventually it turned out to be a very positive experience, because both of the children walked away and were very positive about it. They obviously had names for each other, which I'm not going to bore you with, but eventually handling it with a very, very calm voice, a very calm demeanor, sort of solved the problem, and they walked away with both of them with happy smiles.
What relational practices do you employ to keep the relationships going well?
We have different staff development activities during the term. Each term we have something serious, and then we have some fun activities. Last term we had to play bingo. And the first term we had to dress up with newspapers for Valentine's Day. So I think that's good for staff to work informal together.
We make an occasion of every occasion, like Mother's Day or Father's Day or Valentine's Day or Heritage Day. We make an occasion of an occasion, and it is not something serious. It's like by dressing up and have something nice to eat during break. It's just to keep the spirit up. That's how we do it here, and it seems to work.
Without disclosing too many gory details, we've already said now that conflict is inevitable, that it happens everywhere in each and every school. We're human, we differ. I'd love to just hear, what are some of the causes of conflict here at Kabiga Primary School?
To me personally, I get involved in conflict quite a lot. Kids almost search for me. One of the first people they look for when conflict does arise. But I've found very often it's born from misunderstanding. They don't understand each other's position. They don't understand what's being said. They don't understand the fact that we all have different backgrounds. I mean, we as grown-ups, we understand that. We are adept at knowing Hanli is one way, Corey is another way, Deirdre is another way. And this is how far I can push them. This is what I should do, what I shouldn't do, what I can do, what I can't do. But kids are kids. They don't understand that quite yet. So misunderstanding to me is one of the main causes of conflict in our school.
I also think that different beliefs and personalities clashing, and you say something that I don't like, so conflict arises on that as the topic as well. Same with miscommunication and misunderstanding. You don't understand each other always, so you also need to put it out there so that they know how you feel about the situation. So listen to both sides of the story, and conflict might not arise so often, but that is also one of the things. You believe something different that I believe.
Another contributing, I don't know if you will agree with me, is space. Our classrooms are full. If we go to assembly, the children are sitting like sardines next to it. You are in each other's space the whole time. As a teacher, I have a 2 meter That's
Radius.
it. That I can move. I can't walk down the passages or the aisles. There's suitcases.
So Kabiga is a values-driven school, and I believe that if you instill positive, healthy values in children, that can go a long way in helping them to deal with conflict in a way that's constructive and positive. Can you share a little bit about how does Kabiga raise awareness around these positive values in the school?
Right. With the help of GM Foundation, we started Peace Clubs. And from the Peace Clubs, we also did peaceful classrooms. And what we've learned there, we went back and we implemented in the classroom. And now we go a little bit further. We have a peace week every year. We focus on one value. Last year it was to be thankful. This year it's love. But love, not boyfriend, girlfriend love, but love for my teacher, love for my parents, love for my friend, love for that. And every day, the Peace Week, we emphasize that love for the day. And the whole school is involved, and we make a big deal about it. We've got a banner that we put outside. We make announcements. We get the teachers involved. We really go all the way. And every year we just emphasize the value. We even got, each grade has got a value color. So the last day of our Peace Week, will be allowed to wear the value color, and they must bring us, because I love to give. It's important. I love to give. So that they can bring a food item, non-perishable, that we can donate for charity. And but we tried. And in the past, as a Peace Club teacher, it is hard work. But last year, just to share this, last year one of the naughty boys came to me on the Friday. Said, "Ma'am, I'm so sorry the week is over." I said, "Why?" "No, he loved Peace Week." And I'm like, "Huh? Rara?" He loved it. And I said, "What did you like about it?" "No, ma'am, I just loved it."
As you can see, Zee, conflict is a perfectly normal phenomenon that can occur on a daily or even weekly basis.
Try hourly, minutely, secondly, split secondly.
The point is, if conflict is done respectfully, it can be used very powerfully to transform our relationships. So, if you have a story of how conflict ended well, or how conflict was used to achieve a positive outcome, please leave a message below. We'd love to hear the story.
And don't forget to keep the sunny
And the funny in SA.
Thank you for joining us for Tea with Lulu and Zee. And keep the conflicts going. Keep the peace. And remember to go to our Tea with Lulu and Zee Facebook page for the word of the day and for other little tidbits. God bless.